Olivia Rodrigo's sophomore album has officially been unleashed into the world, following her monstrous debut album Sour, that took the world by storm seemingly out of nowhere in 2021. Propelled by singles like Driver's License and Deja Vu, Olivia painted herself as a figure that spoke to heartbreak. More importantly, teenage heartbreak. While the potential of Olivia's talent is undeniable on Sour, I ultimately felt the best moments came from the singles, and wasn't really a massive fan of the indie-style piano-driven ballad direction that most of the album took. I feel like the non-piano ballads helped show her own personality more, and helped make her feel less ordinary. With that being said, I have grown more appreciation for a song like Driver's License with time, and what it was able to capture at least, and that is genuine emotion and genuine heartbreak. More than anything, I think Olivia's strong suit is her ability to emote. You tend to get the sense that she means every word she says. I also feel like Sour was a bit one note in its perspective, which at times made a few of the songs feel like one long song. So I was definitely interested to see where Olivia Rodrigo would go from Sour, and how exactly she would build upon it. And her kicking off this era with Vampire left even more of a question, because it essentially felt like a more progressive take on Driver's License, but not exactly a total knockout of some of the tracks from Sour. She once again teamed up with Dan Nigro for Guts, who has become her go-to producer, and they certainly have a lot of creative chemistry, with him helping Olivia dive into more creative or throwback sounds that have been slowly making a resurgence, like the second single from the album, Bad Idea, Right?, which recalls the brattiness of Avril Lavigne's Girlfriend or Tony Basil's Mickey, over some pretty compelling 2000s pop rock instrumentation. It's essentially a novelty song, but a very good one, albeit slightly annoying. There's loads of F-bombs and curse words on this album, and we're met with that instantly on the opening track, All American B, which starts off with a very soft acoustic dynamic and transforms into a rocker. I will say I do think some of the writing and lyrics feel needlessly brash at times, or it comes across as someone who grew up very sheltered and finds a way to cram a curse word in just for the sake of it. Like when she says, "I've got sun in my motherfucking pocket, best believe it," on the opening track. Lacey is probably the most ambiguous and interesting song on the album narratively. It ties in those standard Rodrigo tropes of being jealous of another girl over some lush, folky guitars, but also comes off as a song that hints at same-sex attraction. And for people who love the more rock-centered direction of Olivia, you will get a lot of enjoyment out of this album. Like on Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl, which has some pretty standard 2000s pop-punk aesthetics, where Olivia talks about the negative effects of homeschooling, and how it has affected her social life and even the type of partners she has attracted, or have been attracted to, causing a bit of controversy with her admission of accidentally being involved with gay men. I talked to this hot guy, swore I was his type, guessed that he was making out with boys like the whole night. Everything I do is tragic, every guy I like is gay, the morning after I panic. Get Him Back sees Olivia doing a bit of melodic rapping and talk singing on the verses, and then taking on these girly, high-pitched amateur group vocal leads on the chorus. It's definitely structured like a sing-along chorus where the chorus is centered as the most important aspect of the song. The hook is definitely a little bratty, but it sounds like a surefire hit. Love is Embarrassing has an equally big chorus, where Olivia is going off about how she commonly loses herself while she's in love, or what at least feels like love. She even talks about a scenario in the song where she comforted her boyfriend while he was upset about his ex. The song is very 80s new wave rock inspired with some snappy drums. She says, "And I consoled you while you cried over your ex-girlfriend's new guy. How could I be so stupid?" I do think the ballads tend to be the weakest spots on the album, but the song Pretty Isn't Pretty is a sweet and heartbreaking song that takes more of a bedroom pop and indie rock direction, where Olivia talks about body image issues in a very direct manner. Bought a bunch of makeup trying to cover up my face. I started to skip lunch, stop eating cake on birthdays. I bought a new prescription to try and stay calm, because there's always something missing. There's always something in the mirror that I think looks wrong. When pretty isn't pretty enough, what do? and everybody's keeping it up, so you think it's you. I could change up my body and change up my face, I could try every lipstick in every shade, but I always feel the same, cause pretty isn't pretty enough anyway. It recalls songs like Pretty Hurts by Beyonce and Unpretty by TLC. It's heartbreaking that anyone feels this way, but even more so I'm sure resonates with a lot of Olivia's audience, especially in the age of social media pressure. It's really a great, but simple and straightforward song. The closing song, Teenage Dream, reads like a Billie Eilish-styled pop piano ballad, with Olivia questioning when she will be enough beyond her age, with an opening line that cuts straight to the chase. When am I gonna stop being wise beyond my years and just start being wise? It's an honest, self-aware outlook. Guts is not exactly a full-fledged collective piece, as much as it is a compilation of many different ideas. But it still keeps true to what we know of Rodrigo thus far. It's just a bit more expansive. I could not help but to think of Avril Lavigne during this record, especially her second album Under My Skin, where it saw Avril leaning into even more rockier sounds and being far more abrasive with her lyrics. It's certainly a similar artistic progression. There are a good amount of cringe lyrics on this album, cringe in the way of being an angsty teenager, so it's kind of passable. However, there are also a lot of clever and honest lyrics as well. Guts works as two halves of one whole alongside Sour, and although there is some mild and passable spots on the album, I still feel there is a lot of improvement shown on this record since her debut. It feels like a transitional album, and the direction she takes on this record sets her up to explore with much more than her debut did.